across the sill. Condensation beats on the pane. A cup sits near my hand. Spoon lies flat on saucer. Shadows shift on the table. Received edges curl a little. This air feels soft. Light moves on the glass. Coffee stays warm enough. Street sounds pass and fade. Menu board hangs above the bar. Milk pitcher shines under light. Barista wipes the counter once. A tray slides along the rail. Fingerprints show on the glass. A bus stops by the curb. Someone laughs, then turns away. Chair legs scrape, then stop. A blink breaks the steady view. Sunlight moves on the floor. Straw wrapper twists near the cup. Napkin holds a small food. This air feels soft. Light moves on the glass. Coffee stays warm enough. Street sounds pass and fade. I stay on the glass. Daylight stretches a little. My eyes move to window. A bus slides past slowly. Two coats past the glass. A scooter stops by curb. Steam lifts from my cup. A spoon taps once on saucer. The door swings, then settles. A paper sign stays still. A shadow crosses the floor. Traffic lights change outside. I look toward the window. Shapes move past the glass. My cup stays near center. Light falls on my hands. A bird lands on the ledge. A phone screen flashes outside. Rain dots the window edge. A scarf turns at corner. The barista rinses a jar. A chair leg scrapes lightly. A receipt curls near tray. The clock moves 1 minute. My gaze follows a taxi. A child points at puddles. A dog pulls on leash. A mailbox door shuts once. I look toward the window. Shapes move past the glass. My cup stays near center. Light falls on my hands. Cars pass in one line. The street keeps moving on.
A cup warms both my hands. Clear daylight holds the window. The table stays mostly bare. A coaster sits under glass. A chair faces the counter. Napkin folded near the spoon. Menu card rests by my phone. Steam rises in thin lines. The Door closes with soft click, footsteps pass outside the glass. Light lingers by rim, cup stays in my hands. Table looks clean today. Daylight holds still here. Kettle clicks behind the bar. A towel hangs by the sink. Sugar packets fill a jar. A small bell waits to ring. Condensation marks the cup lightly. A stir stick rests beside plate. Receipt lies under the saucer. A pen sits near the edge. The spoon taps once, then stops. A shadow falls on the floor. Milk carton stands by the fridge. Clock hands move without sound. Light lingers by rim, cup stays in my hands. Table looks clean today. Daylight holds still here. Steam lifts in thin lines. Street noise stays outside.
Chair sits close to doorway. Mat lies flat by the door. Bell rests above the frame. Glass shows street in pieces. Daylight stretches on the floor. Handle shines with slight smudge. Menu board leans near counter. Jacket hangs on a hook. Door stays half closed today. Light stays unmoving on tile. Chair near the entrance. Daylight holds on glass. Doorbell stays quiet. Shoes line up by mat. Receipt roll sits by register. Napkin box shows one corner. Water pitcher catches a line. Tray rests beside the sink. Small plant sits on ledge. Dust gathers on the baseboard. A postcard stands by jar. Key ring rests under note. Cup warms both hands briefly. Steam thins near the doorway. Radio light stays steady. Clock ticks behind the shelf. Chair near the entrance. Daylight holds on glass. Doorbell stays quiet. Shoes line up by mat. Mat stays flat by door. Seat placed just inside. Mug rests near my notebook. Steam thins above the rim. Spoon lies across the saucer. Window shows a slow bus. Pencil rolls beside the page. Cup ring marks the wood grain. Bass notes sit under chords. Afternoon light stays on glass. Barista stacks clean plates quietly. Receipt slips under the tray. Hands leave the warm cup. Notebook waits on table edge. Bass moves under soft chords. Afternoon light stays calm. Sugar jar catches small glare. Water glass sweats by my hand. Chair back holds my jacket. Door closes with a small click. Street sign shifts in window. A lid turns on its cup. Menu board hangs by the door. 2 coins rest on the plate. Page corner lifts, then settles. Knife taps once on ceramic. The foam screen dims to black. Footsteps pass by the mat. Hands leave the warm cup. Notebook waits on table edge. Bass moves under soft chords. Afternoon light stays calm. Pencil rests by the page. Knock sits near the lines.
A chair is pulled out. The table edge looks clean. No line forms at the bar. Daylight falls through the glass. A menu board stays bright. Cups sit stacked on the shelf. A spoon rests in a jar. Water rings on the wood. A timer blinks on the wall. The doorbell stays quiet. A chair waits by itself. No line at the bar. Daylight moves on the floor. This room holds the end. A towel hangs from the hook. A grinder hums, then stops. 2 coins lie in a dish. A receipt curls near a tip. A window latch sits open. Dust drifts in a thin line. A coat hangs on one peg. The clock ticks near the door. A cup warms both my hands. Steam rises and then fades. A paper bag stays folded. Outside steps pass and leave. A chair waits by itself. No line at the bar. Daylight moves on the floor. This room holds the end. The counter stays clear today. The door stays open still.
Cup paused near table edge. Fingers rest along the handle. Light spreads gently towards center. Spoon waits beside the saucer. A chair sits close to window. Street shapes move behind the glass. Napkin folded beside the plate. Menu lies flat on table. Clock hand moves one small step. Doorbell stays quiet today. Cup paused near the edge. Light spreads gently inward. Hands wait above the cup. Room stays calm and steady. above the surface. Watering fades near the rim. Notebook stays open to page. Pencil rests across the margin. 2 coins sit near the tray. Curtain edge shifts, then settles. Footsteps pass along the hall. Cup stays near the edge. Light sits softly on wood. Small crumbs gather by the plate. Glass shows a clear reflection. Cup paused near the edge. Light spreads gently inward. Hands wait above the cup. Room stays calm and steady. The spoon rests beside saucer. Clock moves without any sound. Chair angled toward the window. Street buses pass in silence. A coat hangs on chair back. Cup ring marks the wood. Thin daylight stretches along tiles. Glass shows faces moving past. A napkin sits by spoon. Menu chalk fades near corner. My phone rests face down. A receipt lies under cup. Chair faces the street. Daylight stays on glass. Cars pass without stopping. My cup stays near edge. Door chime clicks once. A barista rinses the pitcher. Water runs into the drain. 2 plates dry by rack. A pen rolls beside notebook. Page lines wait for ink. Sugar packets rest in tray. The clock hand moves slowly. A stroller passes the window. A dog leash pulls along. Shoes tap on wet pavement. A scarf lifts in wind. Chair faces the street. Daylight stays on glass. Cars pass without stopping. My cup stays near edge. My notebook stays open. We stay with each other.
A book rests near the corner. Pages lie open and flat. Soft light touches the paper. A cup sits by my hand. The cover bends at one edge. A bookmark stays in place. A pen waits beside the spine. Dust dots the wooden table. Small sounds fade down the hall. We don't need to hurry. We don't need to hurry. Pages wait, then turn slow. Light stays on the paper. Coffee cools in silence. A chair shifts and is still. Street reflections cross the glass. My phone stays face down here. Steam thins above the cup. One sentence ends at the line. My thumb rests on the margin. The next page lifts a bit. Air moves along the paper. A server walks past softly. A receipt sits under saucer. The clock ticks without pushing. Shadows slide a little left. We don't need to hurry. Pages wait, then turn slow. Light stays on the paper. Coffee cools in silence. Hands rest near the book. The room stays quiet now.
One chair set by glass. Afternoon light rests on seat. Cup placed near the edge. Spoon lies beside the saucer. Window shows a slow street. Receipt sits under the cup. Napkin folded near the plate. Table stays clear and quiet. Eyes turns once in glass. Shadows move along the floor. Time holds its breath. Light stays on the chair. Street lines past the glass. Coffee cools very slowly. Pen rests near the notebook. A page waits open halfway. Chair legs touch the tile. Doorbell sounds once and stops. Steam thins above the cup. Spoon taps softly on rim. Menu closes without noise. Sun stays clean on table. A tray slides to the sink. Barista wipes the counter slow. Outside coats past the glass. Curtain shifts a little now. Time holds its breath. Light stays on the chair. Street lines past the glass. Coffee cools very slowly. stand straight by table, seat pulled in with care, backrest aligned with the edge, floor stays clean under legs, light traces lines on wood, window frame holds a bright strip, cup sits near the corner, spoon rests beside the saucer, receipt lies flat near plate, pen cap turned to the side, we set things down, hands leave space to rest, light stays on the table, chair stays pulled in. Placed under the chair, coat folded on the next hook, phone screen dark on table, sugar packet left unopened, upright base stays very light, nylon strings keep a low pace, dust line shows on the shelf, clock face clear, not shining, napkin edges stacked in squares, menu close, cover facing up, glass shows street lines passing, door handle holds a small shine, we set things down, chair stands straight again, light draws quiet lines, cup sits where it was, seat pulled in with care, table stays clear, still.
Menu held above the table, thumb keeps the corner flat, letters sit in neat rows, afternoon glow stays light, page turns with a soft sound, a small stain marks the margin, glass of water sweats slowly, chair back meets my coat, pencil rests beside the bill, line at the counter holds, menu closes, hands pause, light stays on the page, order waits in silence, time bends without asking. I fold the menu back, edges line up then slip, tray sits empty near me, cup rings show on wood, barista wipes the machine front, two spoons clink then settle, door opens then closes once, a street noise fades at glass, price list hangs by the register, a bell sits under the lamp, napkins stack in a row, one crumb stays by the plate, menu closes, hands pause, light stays on the page, order waits in silence, time bends without asking. A seatbelt stays untouched. Step slow near the line.